Hi guys, and welcome back to Superdrug TV. Sit back and relax because we've got everything you need right here. I've got a Zoom date with YouTube superstar Anna Saconne. Lauren Wigley is going to be here to chat us through the best vegan beauty products Superdrug has to offer. And Dr. Zoe is back to tell us why sleep is so important. I'm going to be chatting to an absolute YouTube legend. Her YouTube account, Saccone Jolie's, has over 1.8 million subscribers with videos from cooking with the kids to her sharing her makeup routines. It's the one, the only Anna Saconne.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, of course, it's so amazing to be chatting to you. Of course, I wish that we could be doing this in person,
I
but
know.
nevertheless, we're working about ways around it. How has your lockdown been treating you?
This one's definitely harder. I think everybody agrees. This one is the hardest one so far. I feel like it's just, everybody's just so sick of everything, right? Like the homeschooling and just being in the same house as each other. But I feel like, yeah, definitely March was also easier because the weather was so much better. We were so lucky with the weather. And whereas now it's like, it's rubbish because you can't even, you can leave the house to like do your daily exercise, but it's just not the same, is it?
I want to ask you, Anna, obviously you've got kids, most of which go to school and nursery. How are you dealing with this homeschool situation? Because I'm hearing horror stories from parents online. How are you coping with 4 kids in your house?
It is absolutely, I mean, you can probably hear some of the chaos in the background. It is crazy, like it's complete chaos. I will say that, you know, all normal routines are just out the window at this point. It's, you know, we've got 2, we're lucky that we had 2 in nursery, so we could send them. Thank goodness that opened up, because otherwise I would be screwed. I mean, there would be no homeschooling going on whatsoever, because I think the times that I did try with the older 2 to do homeschooling, the younger ones were just like drawing all over the walls, throwing Play-Doh at each other. Like it was just mayhem. So at least with them going to nursery in the mornings, I have them going in a few mornings a week. That's when I do like the homeschooling stuff, but then I just leave it from there.
Have you and Jonathan learned anything new about each other, or have you learned anything new about everyone as a family, just spending so much time together over the past almost year? We're almost on a year anniversary of sort of being in this situation, which is crazy.
I think the one thing for us that's been the most beneficial is that when the kids go off to school, I always get a little bit sad. Of course, things get easier, and you know, they're not usually wearing nappies anymore, and they're not as dependent on you anymore. But I do get a little bit sad because they don't need you anymore, and it's kind of that first step of like them growing up. And after that, there's no going back. And I feel like when they start school, everything just snowballs, like it goes really, really fast, and you almost lose them to the system and like to their friends and all that. So I think what's been really great is just getting to know them, like especially the older ones, even better than we probably normally would, because normally they're in school all day long, they're with their friends, and whereas at the moment it's just kind of us as a family. And I actually think, as cheesy as this sounds, because believe me, like there's so many moments where I'm just like pulling my hair out, but I know that we're probably going to look back and think like, we're so lucky that we got that time with them, because they're only small once. I mean, I say that, but there's obviously moments where I don't think that. I'm like, when is this going to be over?
What I love about you on your YouTube channel and on your social channel is the fact that you really push for people to be body confident. And you've spoken about your journey as well before. I know that this sort of lockdown in particular, there are a lot of people struggling with feeling confident. I think it's just the situation that we're in has had a massive knock on a lot of people's confidence. What would be some tips and advice that you would say of people that may be starting on a body confidence journey like you've taken yourself?
I think a lot of us that were born in like the 80s, 90s, even like the early 2000s, we all kind of grew up with this one, like it was like a one body type, or like a one, like this is what a woman is supposed to look like. And now it's changing, which is so amazing. And I'm so proud that my kids are growing up in a different world. But there's so much of that out there. It's just, you have to kind of know what to look for, and you have to look for it, and you have to kind of seek it out yourself. But if you do, it's just, it opens you up to this whole new world. And I think just me personally, like curating my feed and checking like myself and checking in with who I was following and whether they were good role models or not, has really helped me, because it's just, my feed is now so diverse, and I feel happier in myself because I actually value all different types of women, and I value myself more because of it, because we're all different and we don't fit into one tiny little mold. So that's been a really big one. And then I think also, this obviously kind of goes against probably everything I just said, but taking some time to log off as well is really important. You know, I love social media. It's what I do for a living, but I've noticed in this lockdown, especially because we're inside more, it's cold outside, so we don't want to be outside as much. We do end up just instinctively going to our phones, and it's our format. It's our way of communicating with people. I haven't seen my family in Ireland for over a year now, so obviously I'm on my phone, like FaceTiming them and stuff. But I think also just stepping away sometimes it's just too much. Like, it's too many screens, it's too much screen time, and it just makes you feel kind of icky inside. And I think in those times I just need to like break away, take a walk, just get some fresh air and just kind of gain perspective again. That can be really helpful, because you can get lost online and in this like sea of, you're constantly comparing yourselves to other people. And so I think those two together are a really healthy mix.
You've spoken about sort of taking a moment for yourself and the benefits that you've seen of sort of getting ready and taking some time for yourself away from the family and away from work as well. What are some products that you've been using that have really got you through lockdown? Just some treats, whether it be candles, whether it be products that you put in for a nice bath.
I love any kind of scented candles. I mean, obviously recently, because we've just come out of Christmas, it's been all about the Christmas candles.
Yeah, we're sick of cinnamon.
Yeah. So I need to get some new stuff in.
Yeah.
But anything that makes me feel like I'm just taking a minute for self-care, even if it's something as simple as like a body moisturizer. And sometimes, like at Christmas especially, sometimes you get like nice presents or like gift sets. I used to save them for a special occasion, and now I'm just going for it. And I know I'm not going anywhere. I know I'm not doing anything special, but I think just me taking the time to do that is kind of prioritizing myself and just pushing myself up there on the list of priorities, which in turn just makes me feel better mentally, like about myself. So I think anything you can do self-care wise is always going to be good in this kind of a situation, especially.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is the little things that every day, just treat yourself as and when. And this is the first year, it was funny that you mentioned for Christmas, this is the first year that I haven't re-gifted, sorry to say, to my nan and my auntie that often give me like body creams and beauty products. It's the first year that I've actually hung onto them and thought, you know what, I'll use them, I'll bring them out on a Sunday night when I want to treat myself. Anna, thank you so much for joining us. You've been so amazing on Superdrug TV. Take care.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joining me now in the studio is vegan influencer Lauren Wigley. If you've been enjoying doing Veganuary this month, she is here to tell us all about some of the vegan products that she has been loving. Hello, Lauren.
Hey.
Now, Lauren, you are a vegan beauty expert. Tell us what your job really entails, first of all.
So I'm a freelance beauty journalist,
Okay.
but I specialise in sort of like ethical and vegan beauty. So I'm basically just writing about anything as long as it's cruelty-free and vegan. That's basically it, yeah.
Amazing. And when did you turn vegan?
It was about 4 years ago. I
Okay.
don't have like an actual sort of anniversary because I did it sort of bit by bit.
A veganversary.
Yeah, veganversary, exactly. People actually do call it that, to be fair.
I love it.
But yeah, around 4 years, I'd say, 4 and a bit, yeah.
Okay, and what was the thing that made you want to change? Did you do it, was it a slow process for you of simple switches, or did you go full in?
So food-wise, I was like vegetarian when I was really
Okay.
young, and then I sort of played around with pescatarianism. I did everything basically, and then I just sort of decided to be vegan sort of one day and just sort of cut stuff out gradually. I cut out dairy first, and then...
Then talk to us about some of the benefits that you've seen since you turned vegan as well, because you've been doing it for 4 years now, so.
I mean, for me, I just find it really, I think I started doing it when veganism kind of really took off in the UK, especially. So I've never struggled with finding like food or like alternates, anything like that. And I think it's actually quite exciting because especially every year in January, when it's Veganuary, brands are just bringing out so many, it's actually exciting. I get a bit too excited and just want to like try everything,
Taking
like,
trips to the
get all the
supermarket.
delivery, like literally everything.
It really feels like now more than ever, it is easier to be vegan. It's so much more inclusive. So many people are seeing the benefits of it. Speaking of which, you brought along some incredible beauty products here to talk about today. And these are all vegan as well, aren't they?
Yeah, all vegan and cruelty-free. So these are kind of some of my staples. I'd say they're like, anyone can use them. They're really, really like easy swaps.
Nice.
I think the first thing I'm gonna talk about is skincare.
Yes.
So it's the hot cloth cleanser. I feel like loads of people have probably heard of this or like tried it. It's just a really, really easy way to like keep your skin glowy, and it moisturizes. It doesn't strip anything. So it's really great. I love this so much.
These are really good actually, because they're really good for the environment because you're not using makeup wipes, so you can just
so you
use
use
a
the
cloth.
hot cloth. So you use this.
Exactly.
You just pop it on and use a hot cloth, and it's sort of like, it's like a spa.
Nice.
It's like a facial. It's really, really nice to use. Smells amazing as well. So
We could do with a little bit of a spa treatment,
Everyone could do
DIY
this, yeah.
at home in lockdown for sure. And I love that it's moisturising because the colder months as well, I feel like some cleansers can really strip your skin.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it's good that it
There's
puts the
no
moisture
like
back in.
tight skin feeling after this. It's just very
Nice.
much like glow, and there's a glycolic toner in this range, in the Naturally Radiant range, and it's really really complements it so well. Just really brightening. It's perfect for winter skin.
Love that.
Love it so much.
Add that to your skincare routines. I'm a massive fan of that. What we got next, Lauren?
So this is new. I was super excited when I spotted this in store. So it's like a facial soap bar.
Okay.
Again, this is really great for winter because it's super moisturising.
Yeah.
Vitamin E, all the good stuff, but it's gently exfoliating.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
It scares me when you said a bar of soap for your face.
Yeah.
That initially scared
Yeah.
me because soap for me, bars of soap are really, really stripping for your hands alone.
Yeah.
So putting that on my face is scaring me. But you're saying this one's moisturising as well.
Yeah, I mean, vitamin E is like the hero ingredient for like keeping your skin super moisturised and like super hydrated. So this will just like replenish the moisture. It will just give you a really nice like gentle exfoliation, or just like keep your skin, like get rid of the dirt, not strip any of the moisture, just give it all the good stuff it needs. Obviously super environmentally friendly as well because there's no plastic, so this is great. I'm obsessed with this, really excited to see it in store. So that was
Nice.
amazing, that's amazing.
2 new skincare editions,
know.
both vegan
I
as well.
know.
Perfect, you're on a roll, babe. What you got next?
This MUA Makeup Academy shadow palette, I've actually got it on right now.
Yep,
So it's like a
very
really nice, like pinky red, tropical vibes sort of shadow palette. I mean, it's got some mattes, it's got some like shimmer.
Yeah, I love a little
like-
mixture of the both because I feel like you're probably the same. I feel like everyone's the same. Makeup kits can get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
And you don't want to be carrying around loads of palettes with all different shades and shimmers.
Exactly.
So I love it that there's a load of different shades and loads of different textures. You've got shimmers, you've got glitters, you've got mattes in there as well. To take the
Totally, you
perfect
can like
look.
switch up day to night, just completely natural,
Yeah.
or like go really bold and do like a really big like reddy smoky eye.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
How
absolutely obsessed.
pigmented are they? What is the
Do you want
pigment
me to
on the shimmer?
shall
Do a
I get
little swatch for us, Lauren.
Okay, so I'll do the medium dark swatch. So, I mean, they are pigmented.
Yeah.
I'll do it on my, you can
Wow,
see
and I can see
that.
they're looking really
I mean,
creamy as well.
And to get that with a vegan formulation is absolutely,
That is gonna
it's
look amazing.
I'm absolutely obsessed. I might do like a really spicy red as well, just
yeah,
because
do
I
a
feel
red
like
for
a
us.
matte would look amazing. I mean, I've probably got a little bit too much product there.
Is
but
that
you
a
can
matte?
see.
That's like a matte
So that's
red,
a
isn't
matte
it?
red. So you can get it. That's like really
That
pigmented. I'm
looks
doing that so you can really
gorgeous.
see.
Lauren, I
But-
can't wait to try this out. That's
I mean,
amazing.
it's great, isn't it? And you
Love
can just
that.
keep it really, like I'm a bit more subtle today with it,
Yep.
but you can
go
really mix
bold.
it up and do whatever you fancy.
Of course.
So,
You've
yeah,
sold that
I mean,
to
I
me
personally
entirely.
really
Love
think-
that so much. And vegan friendly as well, which is
vegan
a plus.
friendly, can't beat it. It's amazing.
Great.
And yes, the last sort of like makeup-y thing, again, some lipsticks have the same sort of like calming
Okay.
situation in.
Fine.
This is a really beautiful liquid lipstick from All Tigers.
Okay.
So vegan and cruelty-free again. And this is just a really beautiful pinky shade. It's called Rosewood. And it dries like a sort of a lipstick would. So sort of matte, really pigmented, really beautiful. You can wear this again like day to night, like whenever, super easy to put on. Doesn't come off when you're eating or drinking, it's like really long lasting. Again, vegan, like
Yep.
great, it's just
Yep.
it's really beautiful.
That's what I love
So,
about
yeah.
liquid lipsticks is that they stay all day, and when you're eating
Yeah,
and
they
drinking,
literally do
don't
not
move.
budge.
And the mask situation as well, underneath that, you know it's going to stay put. too.
Exactly, that is a really good point. Yeah,
Very good point.
You don't want the imprint of your
That is
face
the worst.
on your
That
mask
is
when
the
you take it
worst.
off.
I can't
Exactly.
stand that. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
this
for having
week.
me. Thank you so much.
Now, she is the host of our new Healthful podcast. This week, Dr. Zoe Williams is here to talk to you all about sleep, something I am personally very interested in. I have suffered with insomnia for as long as I can remember, so I've got my notebook at the ready.
Today, we're talking about two things that are very much interlinked that many of us are struggling with right now: And those two things are sleep and stress. Something that impacts on our stress levels is our sleep, and of course when we're stressed, that can impact on our sleep as well. Let's talk about stress. I think the first important thing to say is that stress is normal. It's our body's response to perceived danger. And if we think back many generations ago, many centuries ago, when we might have been faced with a lion, then all the things that happen when we get stressed would be helpful. So the things that happen are our heart rate gets faster, we can feel our heart pounding, and all the blood is pumped to our muscles in case we want to run away. We become hyper alert. So even our pupils widen so that we can see further around us, so that we know where the danger is. We sometimes talk about this being our sympathetic nervous system being kicked into action. So that's our fight or flight. We're ready to fight that lion, or we're ready to flight, run away, or sometimes actually we just freeze. That is very helpful for dangerous situations and actually increases our chances of survival. So nowadays we don't face lions very often, but our stress response is appropriately triggered by things like public speaking or a big argument, or even if it's a near miss and we almost get run over. We're very well adapted to take those stressful events, those big stressful events, every now and again. What we're not well adapted for is the daily, small, tiny doses of stress that we experience throughout the day. So things like spilling some milk, or missing a bus, or just the fact that we are constantly switched on, multitasking and busy. This is a new type of stress that we're not well adapted for, and that's damaging and it's harmful, not just emotionally, but actually to our bodies as well. When we experience emotional stress, it actually has an effect on our bodies. It affects the cells of our bodies and the organs of our bodies. And the way that manifests itself is in inflammation. And we know that chronic inflammation is one of the root causes of a lot of the diseases that are affecting us in modern day life. Things like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, some cancers, dementia. So it's really important that we all do whatever we can to limit the amount of stress in our lives, which I know is easier said than done, but I've got 3 little tips for you to get started. First of all, identify the things in life that are stressful that you can't do anything about, and let them go. So whether that is that you've got young children and you're not able to sleep, or you're doing a course at uni and it's really stressful, if you can't actually do anything to amend that, try and just let it go, accept it, and don't stress about the fact that you're stressed. The second thing is identify the stresses in your life that you can do something about. That could be certain people in your life. It could be spending too much time on Instagram. It could be exposing yourself to too much news, and start to eliminate those stresses or reduce them. And the third thing is identify the things that alleviate your stress. So that could be, for me, it's exercise, could be meditation, could be spending time with friends and relaxing, and fill your life with as many of those things as you possibly can. Now, when it comes to sleep, we need our body to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic was fight or flight. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. So in order to get into that parasympathetic nervous system, we need to do what we can to alleviate our stress, as we've already spoken about. But there are many other things that we can do to support our sleep. Sleep is so important, not just so that we have energy, but it's really important for our physical health and our mental health. And poor sleep has been very closely linked to depression. In fact, there are studies that show that if poor sleep is addressed and people in the studies can improve not just the quantity but also the quality of their sleep, then that can have a huge impact on managing their depression. Now, having poor sleep, it's bad for our health, but it also can be really distressing. And unfortunately, we can't just tell ourselves to fall asleep, but what we can do is train our brain to get ready for sleep. As you're getting towards time for sleeping, then the brain can start to associate certain sights, smells, and activities with winding down. So getting into the habit of reading a book before bed or using your favourite essential oils can start to teach the brain that it's time for sleep. When thinking about your bedroom, you need to really perfect it and make it appropriate for sleep. Think about all the things you do for a small child. So make the room cool, very dark and very quiet, and ideally leave your phone outside of the bedroom. For many of us who've been working from home, then we might have been using our bedroom as our office. And that's really confusing for the brain because the brain's thinking this is where I work, not where I sleep. So doing what you can to have a separate work area, putting your laptops away, moving everything to the side, and thinking when you go into bed, this is your bedroom. Strictly speaking, the bedroom should only be for two things: sleep and sex.
And that is it. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. See you next time.